Counter-pressing isn't just a defensive idea. It's the foundation of Klopp's Champions League winning Liverpool and the engine behind Guardiola's Centurion Manchester City. In this video, we'll unpack why the moment you lose the ball is no longer a weakness but the most powerful attacking weapon in modern football. Counter-pressing is the execution of a team closing down the player in possession as aggressive as possible. To fully understand this concept, we'll take a look at the best counter-pressing team Bournemouth, then highlight their weaknesses using the best performing team Arsenal. Out of possession, Bournemouth defend in a 4-3-3. This shape does two important things. First, it allows them to hold multiple lines of pressure high up the pitch. Second, it perfectly supports their counter-press. In modern football, most teams build up in a 3-2-2 structure. That immediately plays into Bournemouth's hands. Their front three can press man-for-man against the opposition back three, while the next line of pressure steps up to block access into midfield. Tactically, Bournemouth already outnumber the opposition in the build-up phase. That numerical advantage forces rush decisions, like the error we saw Gabriel Magalhaes make against Bournemouth. Now let's go deeper and look at the specific player roles that make Bournemouth's counter-press work. Evanilson leads the press by curving his run, forcing the opposition on the ball to either go long or play into a predetermined area. That pass then becomes Bournemouth's pressing trigger. The winger jumps aggressively onto the receiver, supported centrally by the midfielders, while the fullback steps high to lock the touchline. However, this system comes at a cost. Counter-pressing is high risk, high reward, and it demands consistency, coordination, and experienced personnel. This is where Bournemouth often run into problems. Executing this tactic over 90 minutes requires discipline and concentration. For a club like Bournemouth, recruiting that level of experience isn't always easy. When even one player switches off, the press can be bypassed, and that's where Bournemouth are punished. Let's compare that with a team that executes the counter-press with greater discipline and a more reinforced structure. Arsenal have been the best defensive team this season, and while most of the credit goes to the back line, the forwards deserve far more recognition. To understand why, we need to look at how Arsenal press. Arsenal press high and aim to maintain either a 3-5 or a 3-1-1-5 structure. That naturally leaves fewer numbers deep. If exposed to a counter-attack, Arsenal's last line would be vulnerable, which is exactly why counter-pressing is so important to them. Arsenal look to close down the opposition before possession can progress into midfield or be played into the space behind them. This is where their approach differs from Bournemouth. Difference versus Bournemouth principle over triggers. Unlike Bournemouth, Arsenal don't rely on strict pressing triggers. Their priority is to regain the ball quickly, but they also know when not to counter-press. At times, Arsenal deliberately sit off, allowing the opposition to push higher and open space in behind before re-engaging with better spacing and control. Declan Rice is central to this system. He manages space through his athleticism, covering ground box to box and pressing selectively. Zubimendi often screens midfield zones to protect the structure, while the fullbacks step out aggressively from wide areas to shut down space. This is where the difference between Arsenal and Bournemouth becomes clear. Arsenal have the squad depth, discipline, and experience to execute a controlled counter-press over 90 minutes. Bournemouth, by contrast, often lack that margin for error. It doesn't diminish the brilliance of counter-pressing, it shows how organization and discipline can be the difference between winning a league and falling away.